It's car con carne. Let's eat in the car. It's car con carne. And now here's the star of our show, James Van Alstyne.
It's car con carne. Happy hump day. It's still quarantine con carne, sponsored by C&H Financial Services. C&H offers a variety of products ranging from traditional merchant accounts to a zero-cost payment processing solution, which eliminates expenses tied to accepting credit cards. C&H also offers cost-effective commercial lending programs to help get your business the money it needs to make it through these unprecedented times. To learn more, contact C&H Financial Services at 855-600-2437 or go to chfs.us. I'm James Van Alstyne, and my guest today, he is a social media content creator. He is well known in the space, as they say. Actually, I don't think they say that at all. He is Parker James. Hi, Parker.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm great. And what's interesting, there are more people following you on TikTok than there are people in the state of Wisconsin.
I don't even think about stuff like that. But when you say it like that, that's pretty crazy.
And you don't even have a water park like they have in the Wisconsin Dells.
No, I know. Don't you think I need a water park by now?
A log ride, a lazy river, any of those things would be delightful. Actually, you're in Texas,
definitely.
right? I mean, lazy river sounds lovely down there, I bet.
Oh yeah, especially when it's 115, plus humidity.
It's not a dry heat like they say in Arizona.
Oh no.
So do you get hung up on numbers? Do you look at that stuff? I realize that's a measurement of your brand and that's basically your commerce, but it seems kind of like a weird thing to dial into. I'm up 15 today. I'm down 20. Was it something I said?
A lot of stuff. Yeah, you do got to really keep an eye on your numbers, see what makes your community and the people that follow you very, happy. So you gotta keep an eye on that. Let's say you post a video and it just does absolutely terrible. You're like, okay, maybe I shouldn't do that, or maybe I should push this a little bit differently and see how it does. So you do kind of got to work on it, but you just always got to try to better yourself, because there's no way then forward. You just got to keep going forward. So.
I think about Spider-Man a lot, Parker. But the great line, with great power comes great responsibility. In this truly bizarre, weird, kind of awful time, you've been a touchstone of sorts for Gen Z. I've heard the comments. I've read the comments. The content you create, which is wholesome, it's goofy, it's fun, it's ridiculous. It really has connected with people and has been kind of a beacon for people who are struggling right now.
Yeah.
Have you felt a shift in the way that your fans, your followers have been connecting with you or responding to you during the pandemic?
It's always been like, positive outreach. It's always been like super upbeat and all that stuff. But with the whole coronavirus thing going around right now and COVID, it's just, they have been a lot more like, thank you for, continuing to do what you do and all that. So it has been a lot more, stress put on me, but I'm totally open and willing to take that stress if it makes people happy. At that point, it's not really stress. It's just my job, so I'm willing to, care for those people that want it, and I'm willing to supply, You
use the word community. Doing what you do, being a social media based content creator, I think the area is a lot more gray between creator and consumer than it is with television or film. You have, they feel like they know you, and in some respects they do. Does it feel great to you? Is it a natural thing for you?
Yeah. I've always been, I haven't really been, like introvert. I've always been extroverted. So, talking to people and just making them know that, like, hey, I'm here, I'm here for you. I'm totally cool. I feel that's a big, important part of being a social media influencer. There's a lot of influencers out there that do think they are, larger than life, which I made sure that I would never, no matter how big I get on social media, I would never become that Hollywood superstar persona to where I'm completely unreachable. I would always want to be personable and positive with everyone, because I'm just a dude, just like just some other guy or girl or whatever, so.
You mentioned the word influencer, and I think people of a certain age, they just don't get it. But to me, what you're doing is no different than being a musician, being a writer, anyone in the arts who's creating content and profiting or generating revenue from it. You create content, people consume it. That's how that works. But it is interesting. It's almost an age divide of people who get what you're doing. But I mean, I'm of a certain age, not your age, but I'm making content in my house, and people are consuming it. So I perfectly understand what you're doing. You're doing it at a much higher, much more advanced, much more successful level. But I get it. But I'm sure you've noticed there's some head scratching going on with people. There's a cutoff.
Yeah.
Don't get the whole notion of being an influencer.
Like even like friends' parents, they don't understand what I do, and it's fine. Not everyone was raised growing up around social media and influencers. So when this older generation, let's say like Gen X, they didn't grow up with social media as much as the current generation. So when they see that they're making all this money and making themselves, brandable, is kind of hard to kind of grasp. So I can probably guarantee you in the future, there's going to be kids doing stuff that I myself, probably in my 50s, are going to be like, what the heck? Like, how does that even make any sense? So it kind of goes like that. And I don't blame them, but at the same time, it's just like, hey, it's what I do. And if you don't understand it, I'm sorry. I don't really know how to explain it that well.
Your career path, I think a lot of creative people have similar inspiration. You had a teacher once who said, you'll never make it as a content creator. To me, that's how stars are born. Whenever someone in that role says, you're not going to do this, you can't do this, that right there is inspiration to turn around and say, oh no, I got this. I'm going to do this. That
was when she said that, it was, it was a time in my life where I've always kind of struggled with school. School has never really been my thing. I would like to say that I'm a good student, but there are times to where just like mathematics, for example, I just can't do it that well. That's just not my thing. Numbers, letters, I'm a little bit dyslexic and probably have a little bit of ADD, but so school doesn't really come that easy to me. So there was one day it was like my athletics backed up my math. So I would always be very tired. And I guess I dozed off a few times in math class. And then she was just very rude and just not very understanding of what students go through, because students do go through a lot. And she said, I said something like, yeah, well, I'm not coming here next year because I'm going to be an influencer. And she's like, yeah, no, you're not. And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, just watch. And I am where I am now. And don't really think about the teacher that much anymore, to be honest.
But you hear that kind of stuff, you think, well, no, screw that. I'm going to do that.
Yeah, definitely. I was like, okay. I'm just going to prove you wrong and then completely forget about you.
So let's talk about the career trajectory, because this isn't a traditional career path.
Yeah. How
did you, I mean, anyone listening or watching right now is probably wondering, how do you get from A to B? Because on the surface, it seems like an overnight success just because of your age. Well, this happened so quickly. How did you do it? What's the secret, Parker James? How do we all get rich on social media?
I don't like, just hard work. If this, oh my gosh, this doesn't even compare. But like being a doctor, you got to go to college for years. And you got to study and you got to work at it. And then finally you get to the point where you are. It's kind of like that as a social media influencer, but just not to that extent of being a doctor. It's you start and you've got to find a way to build your brand. What works? What does your community like? What does your fan base like? And you got to really strive to be the better person and just really make content that will succeed. And you just got to better yourself to the point to where you get to that point, and then from there, you can only do exactly what you've been doing for all those years to, get better and better and better. You can only better yourself, really.
Well, let's talk about content. Let's talk about finding that thing that resonates with people. For you, it was the character of StEvEn, which I think I used the words goofy and ridiculous earlier. Tell me how StEvEn was born.
A while back, like when I first started, I would do lip syncing because at the time it wasn't TikTok. It was Musically, and Musically was an app where it was mostly lip syncing, and I thought it was okay, but it wasn't really something that I was interested in. But I'm like, you know what? They have an option to where I can make these short 15-second skits, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I went ahead and started doing that, making my own sounds, and it started, doing very well. And I realized that, it does really well when I implement characters, and for a while I had this one character and I had to put on this blonde wig, and it was like absolutely dreadful. And I just hated putting on that wig. And then I eventually realized, oh my gosh, StEvEn is doing fantastic. I am not going to stop doing videos with StEvEn. I'm going to continue to strive and build my brand this way. And, the fans love it. I love it. StEvEn loves it. So, I mean, like, it's great. I love it.
And playing a character lets you get outside of yourself. It lets you can still be authentic on social media, but you have this kind of outlet to be as ridiculous as you want to be.
Right. Absolutely. StEvEn is a little bit of everyone, like I'm pretty sure the normal human being would love to sit on their bed, watch movies and eat cookies all night and then complain about how the cookies weren't like as exactly what they hoped they would be.
Parker, that was the first month of quarantine.
Oh yeah.
You just described the first, that was March.
No, yeah, that was basically mine. A lot of eating. I probably packed on like 10 pounds, and then I was like, oh geez, I gotta figure out a way to lose this. But I kind of relapsed back, and I'm back where I am. But StEvEn's back to doing his same old. I don't even think it really stops. So yeah.
All right, and explain what the Dino Club is.
With social media influencers, they always have fan clubs. They always have following, and like Jake Paul, he named it after himself, the Jake Paulers. And I was like, that's not really my thing. Like, I can't look around going, oh, are you a Parker Jameser? No, that's not my, I don't want people to identify with being a follower of mine, being my name. So StEvEn Loves Dinosaurs. Dinosaurs do really well on my page, and the Dino Club, boom, you're in the Dino Club. You follow me, you're in the Dino Club. And it was just kind of like, it's not like a fan base, it's a club. It's
community.
Yeah. I've never really liked calling them fans, because then it puts the creator above his, people. I don't see myself above anybody.
See, this ties into where I was going to go soon, but we'll go there now. That's a very Kurt Cobain business model. Kurt Cobain famously didn't want to give autographs because he felt like, well, I'm not any different from the people who come to my shows. There's that kind of line that he felt weird crossing. I'm looking straight through you. I'm looking at that Nine Inch Nails thing behind you. Despite your age, you seem like a kid of the 90s. Yeah, definitely. My whole family is a very music oriented family. My cousins are huge Deadheads, love Grateful Dead, 60s, 70s music. Then my mom, so my cousins are my mom's brother. And, so, he's all 60s rock and all that stuff. But my mom was, 90s alternative and rock, Smashing Pumpkins and all that stuff. My dad was
like that as well. So growing up, I didn't really listen to stuff like Britney Spears or Beyonce, Katy Perry. I didn't, that, you know, it wasn't really my thing, and it wasn't really, I couldn't connect with the energy. It was too upbeat. It was too poppy. But with grunge music, Nirvana, you know, Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, all that, it had those gross minor chords and really cool melodies and minor thirds and all that cool stuff that I am absolutely obsessed with, you know, Jane's Addiction. And so I did grow up kind of 90s kid style. So yeah, I'm obsessed with that stuff.
Well, you and your brother are making music as Lovelorn, and I listened to your stuff on SoundCloud. And my first impression when I listened to it was, this is dark and moody stuff. This is, there's melody there, but it's definitely more broody and moody and minor chord, and it all makes sense now.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you know, actually, Lovelorn had just started probably about a year, but that's actually my project. That's just me. Yeah.
So what are you doing with your brother?
I am in a completely opposite thing compared to my brother. I mean, compared to Lovelorn, I'm in a full-on band with my brother, and we do rock music. We really like fuzz rock and just grunge and noise and upbeat and all that. So we take big inspiration from Smashing Pumpkins, Nirvana, Jane's Addiction. There's a musical artist named Ty Segall. We love him. We love that guy. He's amazing. So we went in there and we're like, you know what? Let's bring a little bit of the 90s back and the surfer rock and that California rock sound into the mainstream of rap, hip hop, and pop nowadays. I feel, you know, kids are getting lost in mumble music. So I think everything is poised for a huge pendulum swing back towards guitars. Yeah, I know. Guitars have so much more feeling. But I think that sound from, you know, Jane's, and I'll throw the Pixies in there, and Nirvana, all that vibe is coming back. At least I hope. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Oh yeah. And the thing is I don't, you know, if you like pop music, dude, totally, you know, go for it. You know, that's your thing. I totally don't discriminate against your music taste, but me, it's just, I want to do something that's a little bit more, you know, organic than just all digital sounds. So yeah, I'm obsessed with that stuff. So the question I've been asking everyone, just, it's a cliche, but it needs to be asked. Are you doing okay? I mean, I realize you do most of your work at home anyway, but are you doing okay during the pandemic? Yeah, you know, it sucks because one, outside of being a influencer, I got to play live shows. That's the whole part of being a musician and building your brand as a musician. Is you got to do live shows. So you that's been put on hold. You can't really, you know, I just recently got signed to Outshine Talent, and those people and managers, Barbara, Mark and Shanna, those are fantastic people. But everything's been kind of put on hold, and you can't really do everything to the fullest extent, you know? So, just got to sit back, you know, write the music, make sure it comes out nice and perfect. And then it comes out. And then once everything's cleared and opened up, hopefully you just go right on into it. But, you know, even with creating videos, I can't really go out and do videos in public. So, you know, it sucks. And then meeting up in person with other creators, VidCon and all these parties in LA, I don't really go for the party. I go for the people and the community and all that. So absolutely. So looking ahead, I mean, I know you have your merch available, parkerjames.shop. Yeah. But what's brewing for you from your laboratory there? What's coming up? Oh, I'm actually wearing some right now. So nice. Yeah, I got a big box back here filled with merch that just came in. It's the Parker James line. The Dino Club's been doing really good. We just came out with, I think, 3 in total so far. So we had the blue, we have the black, and we have the golden yellow. So we're going to be coming out maybe with some Halloween stuff here pretty soon. So looking forward to that. Nice. I know. So are you a horror fan? Do you watch horror movies? Am I a horror fan? Yeah, I like horror movies. Believe it or not, I really like horror movies. You know, but my mom's like, don't talk about horror movies. Like, I don't want to hear it. My mom hates them. I love them. I don't know why. I like, Sinister, Silence of the Lambs, and The Conjuring and all that stuff. It's just spooky factor, and ghosts and monsters is just super cool to me. So
yeah, I mean, well, there's that darkness again, but to me, I love horror too. And I just explain it as it's like going to the amusement park. It's a thrill. You get 2 hours of an electrical jolt. It's exciting to watch some of these movies.
Yeah, it's fun. It's like keep you on the edge of your seat. I don't like rom-coms where you just sit back and you're like, that's cute but funny. That's not my thing. Like, with StEvEn, StEvEn's cute and funny, so I get enough cute and funny right there. So maybe, I kind of want to sit back and watch some scary edge of your seat. I love action. I love, there's a movie that me and my dad used to watch. I was like 8, and when he would show me, so all my movie stuff would come from my dad, and my mom was Mrs. Cartoons and stuff like that, and Teletubbies and all that. My dad, we would watch Born Identity. It was a really good movie series, and went from there to Taxi Cab and all that stuff. So I'm a really big movie guy. I like vintage movies and stuff. So
I always felt like Teletubbies had something very sinister underlying.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I never felt
there's
right.
something going on there.
Yeah, it's a little twisted.
Yeah.
All right. So if people want to keep track of you, TikTok is probably the best place. Although you're on Instagram, you're on YouTube, Twitter, you are all over the universe. You're unavoidable. You are ubiquitous. You're ever present in our lives.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm on pretty much everything at this point. When, like I said, when I got signed with Outshine Talent, Mark and Shanna are like, so Barbara, I talked to Barbara too, she's absolutely amazing. They're just a great group of people. And, I told them, I'm like, yeah, I'm on TikTok and Instagram. They're like, what about YouTube? I'm like, no, not really. And they're like, what the heck are you doing? So they set me up on YouTube. They also got me involved in there on Snapchat. Monica from Snapchat verified me, and I'm super grateful that she did that, but it wouldn't have been possible with, Mark, Shanna, and Barbara. I sit there and I listen to them on the phone calls with these business meetings, and I hear them talk, and I'm like, how the heck do you know this stuff? Like, this is ridiculous, but hopefully one day I'm going to be on that.
Now, the only platform I didn't hear you mention is the one we're broadcasting live on right now, Facebook. Is this the OK Boomer platform?
I used to play Farmville when I was like 8. Farmville was fun. My mom was obsessed with it. But yeah, I go on Facebook. I have a Facebook, I have a Twitter, but don't really post as much on Facebook as every other platform out there. All
right. Well, this will be a bold thing for you today. Being
oh yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna promote it on everything else, though. That's for sure.
Right on. Well, I appreciate you. I admire what you've been able to do, and really, the bottom line, and one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you, it comes down to community, fostering, supporting, and engendering community. When social media works and is done correctly and used as a force for good, it's pretty cool. And I think you've done that. You have a group of people who are loyal, but it's also, it really is this cool two-way street you developed. And I think there are some lessons that other generations can pull from that. And I can learn from that as well. So very nice to talk to you.
Oh yeah, it's my pleasure, man. Thank you so much for having me.